It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
Hello and welcome. He is Gary McNamara. I'm Eric Harley. As the Wednesday thing starts, Gary, how are you?
I'm doing good. How's everybody doing? I'm sorry, but I'm continue laughing, even though I've read this a couple of times. And this is a parody. It was a parody, but it went viral yesterday on social media. Mm-hmm. And the headline is, Kamala's book is going to be incredible. And so it's like an excerpt from the book, but it's not really from the book.
Right.
But it could be from the book.
Yeah.
Here it is. Tim was a breath of fresh air on the campaign and was largely responsible for the joy vibes that permeated the early days of our partnership. Our internal polling had shown that voters described my chronic laughter as off-putting and reminiscent of a witch or a sick horse. But Tim said we could turn a negative into a positive by running a positive, upbeat, joyful campaign in contrast to Donald's darker, more diabolical vibes. Well, the early returns were quite positive. The Joy campaign allowed friendly media to portray us as relatable by engaging in things that ordinary scum often did, such as shopping for potato chips. We released a video where Tim and I met some staffers whose names I forget, went into a grocery store that Secret Service had cleared out as planned. Tim picked up a bag of mesquite-flavored chips and tossed them to me. After about a dozen takes, Tim managed to successfully throw them to me, and I managed to catch them. We released the ordinary shoppers from the shed that they were locked in and hit the road. People love that video. While the public seemed to like Tim initially, the polling showed that he was unable to make inroads with young straight men. We tried everything. Everything. Pictures of Tim hunting, fixing cars, talking football. But every time we thought we had a winner, Tim would take the stage at an event and prance about and wave frantically with both hands like a complete sissy, and the polls would dive down again. Then came the constant request to braid my hair, and that's where it ends. Oh, my, that's just great. Oh, and then I like the articles written out there that, sources say that if she writes that book and she's critical of Biden, they're going to come after her.
Yeah, well, book's coming out in September, they say.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
Now, will it be in the biography section or fiction?
I think it's going to be in the fantasy fiction section, which is new. It's kind of like graphic novel thing, What's interesting is comedian Nate Bargatze. He had a bit years ago talking about reading. He goes, I recently started reading because I wanted to read more. He goes, man, books have just so many words. Can't they just take a break, have a blank page every once in a while? So his book that he wrote that came out earlier this year, Big Dumb Eyes, actually has blank pages. To basically, that's a throwback to that bit. And he said it was, someone asked him, what did the publisher think about putting blank pages? He was like, yeah, they weren't for it. But it was part of the bit. And I thought to myself, 107 days, that's the name of Kamala's book. It probably won't be 107 pages.
You just reminded me, it came out like probably had to be, maybe it was 2000. Maybe it was after the election. And it was in paperback and you could buy it. And it was like all the accomplishments of the Clinton administration. And it looks so official.
Yeah.
The front and the back.
Right.
Every single page inside of it was blank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it was, what's interesting is we actually said, this was right after she had said she's not going to run for California and pretty much alluded to the fact that she may not run in 28. She probably won't run in 28. And then we said, well, look, you've been vice president, you've been senator. Here's the thing. You don't want to go on the speaking engagement tour. Don't do that. That will end badly if it ever starts. And so just write the book. It's going to be a ghostwriter. She's not actually doing the right. And then later that day, we got out of here at 5 a.m., and later that day they announced her book is coming out. And I thought to myself, no, that's the only thing you can really do. I don't know. I didn't see any figures on the advance what she's getting.
Did I see Biden got $10 million?
Did he? Yeah.
Wow.
Well, then she didn't get that.
You see Hunter's working for a nonprofit now?
Yeah, right. Selling paintings?
No, no. I think it's helping people.
Oh, really?
I forgot what it is. It's
okay.
helping doing something. It just popped into my mind right now.
Yeah.
What I love, though, is the response, even from people on the left, about, Harris saying, well, the system has failed us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to get involved in it because the system's failed us. It's like, you were an attorney general. You were a senator. You were a vice president. You were the system. That's why it failed.
Well, look, I'll say this. The primary system for the Democrats certainly failed.
Oh, yeah.
She was ushered in and never had to go through a primary.
Yeah.
She didn't make it to the primary in 2020 and was chosen by Biden and then ushered in when they kicked Biden to the curb. So that system definitely failed the voters on the left. So, is it broken? It's been broken for a long time when you just orchestrate that kind of stuff. Look, we talk about 2016. After Biden served 8 years as Veep, but it's Hillary's time. I still think we're going to learn so much more about this whole thing. I hope that I live long enough to learn, because the thing is that there's so much going on. We talked about if you did the Russian hoax, the entire thing of the Russian hoax, and did it in a documentary series, TV series, whatever, you'd have to go as long as Law and Order and The Simpsons combined in order to do everything. I don't know how you could possibly get everything in. Now, when you add to it what we discussed yesterday and the possibilities of everything being connected, everything that they've thrown at Trump being connected, and then quite possibly going back. I mean, we just have questions. We don't know. But we know there are things that point to, again, the Obama administration violating the rights of citizens. They were told to stop doing that by the secret court, by the FISA court, back in, long before 2016. In 2016, they went to the FISA court and said, hey, we didn't stop doing it, but we're going to stop now that we're done. And we had that conversation, and I thought to myself, I don't know how long it's going to take. A grand jury investigation, maybe they look at the evidence and maybe maybe it happens fairly quickly. But in terms of learning everything there is and putting the entire thing, you basically need one massive storyboard to do this in chronological order and connect everything.
Well,
and that could take a long time.
Well, I think based on what we know right now, what's been, whether it's sourced or whatever, that, Ratcliffe said, we have the ignition, which is the starting point. And that was what was, declassified. And we've gone through some of that already. But that's what he said. And then you hear, all right, that the grand jury will be called in Florida because of the whole Mar-a-Lago raid.
Yeah.
Well, then that goes from that has to take that if they're talking, and then Ratcliffe talked about, and they're talking about the conspiracy. Well, then that's a conspiracy, as we said yesterday, that goes 10 years.
Yeah.
And I say 10 years because, remember, you and I were thinking the same thing yesterday. It was Rand Paul who said he believed that in 2015 he was being monitored.
Yeah.
And we know then, and then we started talking about, as you just mentioned right there, the entire thing that the Obama administration went to the FISA court and said, we haven't done what you told us. And that was like from 2013 or 2014. We haven't done what you told us to do. We have been violating the constitutional rights of Americans since you told us. And I think it was like 2013 or 2014 that they said, you need to stop this. Okay, we are. And they didn't. And so you take all of that all the way, from the you look at that and you say, how long is this? How long? What are they looking at? Because it's the Republicans that are saying it's a conspiracy, and here are the parameters. Here's, July of 2016, and then you and I extrapolated out going, yeah, but all this stuff happened before. And the intelligence agencies, I think, might have known from March of 2016. And then Rand Paul saying, well, I believe that in 2015.
Right.
And it just keeps expanding. And then you go to Mar-a-Lago as the end of it.
Right.
A storyboard.
I don't
know. A book board.
If you've ever gone to, I've got family research on Ancestry, and you can basically, it's the family tree that you can go back, and then it branches out, but you would have to have multiple screens once you've done so much work, to see everything, right? To expand everything. And that's kind of what this will look like. It will look like generations on an ancestry board, generations and generations, because of so many things that I believe have still yet to be connected. I think there are a number of things. We know that, look, the goal was, number one, get Trump. And so there is this culture at play. But was there communication with anyone, between any people involved in all the different events? Russian collusion, lawfare, the Mar-a-Lago raid, to say we have to do everything in our power to keep this guy from getting back to the White House. Because once he gets his hands on this information, it's going to be all over. Some are asking, well, why didn't this come out in the first term? Well, so much has happened since that first term. So much has been learned since that first term.
Well, the first term, according to the Republicans, during the first term, that was near the beginning of the continued conspiracy that was to disable his first term.
Right, exactly. And even at the end of it, look, I believe there were things that he certainly knew, but I don't think I think most of it still was yet to be, thanks to John Durham. Quite frankly, Durham's work wasn't quite finished. So when did Durham finish his report? When did that report get issued? But there's so much that's been learned and also added to it. If you're piling everything on, oh my gosh, during the Biden years, it was just monstrous. But I'm with Turley. Jonathan Turley said there's, inside the Beltway on the left, it's DEFCON 1. people are freaking out as to what might come out.
May 15th, 2023.
Yeah, so.
And the interesting thing is there must have been a different Durham report, because when I put in when was the Durham report released, it said 1839.
Different Durham.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's when John Durham started.
That's what it seemed like.
It seemed like it went on forever. But you look at that and so much has been learned. Plus, I'd say this. Donald Trump right now, for the most part, has the cooperation of his own party. He didn't have that all along in his first term. But so much has been learned and so much work has been done, and it was continuing. I mean, you had the Mueller thing that went on and on and on and on and on, and the impeachments and everything else that was part of that first term. Again, I think Trump probably knew some things by the end of his first term, but there's only so much you can act on,
right,
because Durham wasn't done yet.
Well, the whole point of the first term of the Democrats was to keep it out of the news by going after, by going after Trump. That was, you and I looked at it yesterday and said, well, why did Obama continue it?
Right.
And the information coming out is he didn't want that to be part of his legacy, that he actually protected Hillary and knew about it all that time. So it wasn't so much from Obama maybe initially to destroy the first term of Trump. It was to save his own posterior.
Yes.
Wow, this is going to be really interesting. We got a great show ahead. 866-90 Red Eye.
This report is brought to you by Shell Rotella. With advanced synthetic technology, is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance. Keep your engine humming in the heat this summer by keeping up with preventive maintenance. Think your PM is complete after your oil is changed? Think again. There's grease, transmission fluids, and gear oil to consider too. Grease, for example, is made of oil, thickener, and additives. It provides rust protection by preventing water spray-off and wash-off on equipment like the universal joint, fifth wheel, and clutch throwout bearings. It also helps protect major greasing points like tie rod ends, spring pin bushings, kingpin, and the chassis. Today's synthetic oils means more miles between engine oil changes, but greasing intervals aren't growing at the same pace. Your fifth wheel, for example, needs to be greased every 15,000 miles or monthly.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Okay, the worst take of the day, the worst quote of the day comes from CNN's Cassie Hunt as she talks about what's going on here in the state of Texas and redistricting. And whenever Governor Abbott is in the news, somebody in the media always does this. Here we go.
And senior national correspondent Ed Lavandera is inside the Texas State Capitol building. Ed, lawmakers going to try to establish this quorum again on Friday. I think my question to you is, does the governor have a leg to stand on here?
Wow. All right.
Yeah, Governor Abbott, for people that don't know, has been in a wheelchair. He has been paralyzed from a swimming diving accident years. Well, no, a tree fell on him.
A tree fell on him.
That's right. A tree fell on him. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Tree fell on him. Yeah. Branch of a tree fell on him. He's been paralyzed. So.
Yeah.
Oh man. You're in the national media. That always happens, by the way.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah,
it really does.
When he's in the news, it's just like, whoa, that's just bad.
Catch all 5 hours of the show live every night on the Red Eye Radio app. Available in the App Store. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thanks so much for being here. Download our Red Eye Radio app today, and you can listen when and where you choose. All right, some of the highlights yesterday, some of the things that were laughable. You had Representative Yolanda Jones, a Texas state Democrat, yesterday, compare congressional redistricting to the Holocaust.
Yeah, of course.
Jones said in Texas, this is racist. They are targeting black people. They are targeting brown people. That is who they're targeting. We have got to say that people see it when it walks like a duck, and it walks and it quacks like a duck. It's a duck.
All right.
Oh my gosh! And then goes on to compare it to the Holocaust. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
You shake your head, going, "Come on."
Well, I mean, because...
And redistricting has been going on for ages, as we all
right.
know.
And the Democrats have been doing it for a long time.
Yep. I will liken this to the Holocaust. I will liken this to the Holocaust. People are like, well, how did the Holocaust happen? Redistricting? How is somebody in the position to kill all these people? Well, good people remain silent, and good people didn't realize what was going to happen. Redistricting? That's the thing. I mean, I think one of the greatest points the other day, and I think we brought it up on the air, and I forgot who wrote it. It was just like, maybe it was even Charlemagne who said it, that it's just, they keep throwing the same over-the-top, non-believable rhetoric that people have already rejected. It's like, come up with a new argument. But the problem is, any new argument will be less urgent than the urgency that Trump and the Republicans are Nazis and they want the Holocaust. And then who went to Satan last week? Somebody went to Satan. It was like, oh, okay, they've gone from Hitler. We had said it a couple times. Well, the only place you can go is Satan, really, after Hitler. Somebody made that.
Now, they hesitate doing that because if you acknowledge Satan, you have to acknowledge God.
Right, and we mentioned that when we talked about it.
And this is a party that booed God years ago at their convention.
Yes.
What was that? 06? 08? It wouldn't be in 06. It would 08, 04? 2012?
I'm going to guess it was 08. I think.
Because their new deity was being nominated. That's right.
You're going to make me look now. When did the Democrats...
What year did
See what comes up out of AI. When did the Democrats boo God?
Yeah.
2012.
All right.
There it is.
There you have it.
The Democrats dump God.
Yeah.
The Democrats boo God.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you can't, if you...
And I love the AI. Right? Here's AI. The Democrats did not uniformly boo God at the 2012 Democratic National Convention. A vocal minority of delegates booed when the party platform was amended to include language referencing God and Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. I mean, it doesn't matter. You could hear the boos.
Right.
That's all that matters. Is you could hear the boos.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. It was so funny. And we've always suggested, even if you're an atheist, don't boo God just in case you're wrong. There's no reason to take it to that length just in case
Reserve
you're wrong.
judgment for now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you're wrong on that one, that's a biggin.
Yeah.
You don't want to be wrong on that one.
Hard to walk things back at the pearly gates. I personally haven't been there yet. Kind of hoping for it, aiming for it. But I'm guessing you'll have little chance if you've been booing God all that time.
Right. It's
yeah. What I meant was, can I get back to you? But with the left, they hesitate to call Trump Satan because, again, then what they're doing is they're saying that their side is more godlike by default, and they don't want that. They don't want that.
The one I love, and occasionally when a Democrat, hasn't happened in a while, will say, "Well, I'm a Christian, so I'm pro-choice." Mm-hmm. It's like, I wouldn't bring God into the abortion issue. I might say, okay, let's not use God on this one. Yesterday was a continuation of everything. We've talked about the Mandami thing. We've talked about the Mandami of Minneapolis. Then you had Elizabeth Warren come out and glowing things about Mandami, and everybody's shaking their heads, going, "God, I can't believe they're doing this. I can't believe they're doing this." Mm-hmm. Then this headline: Democrats compose a letter to Trump calling for the U.S. to recognize Palestinian statehood. Wall Street Journal editorial, I think, called it pretty good. Kill Jews, get a state.
Yeah.
And so they just continue to go down these evil holes.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely as pure evil as you can get on everything.
Right.
To the point where the public doesn't even pay attention. When it's over the top, they stop paying attention. You look at it, and because they're the loudest voices out there, and probably because you have the conservative media, and therefore it's all over social media, cover it. I don't think that the Democrats, that all the Democrats, that the establishment Democrats want AOC. They don't want Jasmine Crockett.
Nope.
They don't want Mandami. They don't want the Mandami of Minneapolis. They don't want them to be getting the headlines that they're getting because the establishment of the Democratic Party, who is just as radical, are like, guys, no, we got to pretend we're not radical. We are radical. We agree with you, but you can't say it. We need to become the Democratic Party post-2006. And you and I always remember, because we were working together a year, I remember looking at you one time and I said, Eric.
I said, what?
Yes.
Yeah.
I said, they're now, they feel free to start telling people how they really feel. You don't have this anymore. But the old establishment Democrats who were around before 2006 have looked, and even though they got on board the radicalism for a while, they've now seen through a succession of elections it doesn't work. And even though they agree with the radicals, they're like, shut up. You got to pretend you're moving to the middle. And you even see it with the focus from Elizabeth Warren. Well, I mean, Mandami, he wants to lower prices. And the way you lower prices is for government to sell everything. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, what? Communism. That's how we'll get to the success. She doesn't use the word communism, but that's what she's saying.
Right.
The government takeover of business will give you cheaper goods and services.
Right.
And I guess you could make that argument that there were things, for example, if you wanted to buy a vehicle in the old Soviet Union and you were a regular person, it didn't cost you anything because you couldn't ever afford to buy a vehicle.
Right. Right. your car payment went to zero.
Yeah, you had no car payment.
And your health improved greatly from all the walking.
Right. And you learn proper posture.
Right.
You talk about MAGA, make America healthy again.
Yeah.
Well, come on. The citizens of the Soviet Union were walking everywhere, and their posture was perfect from standing in the bread lines, waiting in the grocery store.
Right. Intermittent fasting. They started all that.
Vodka was really cheap.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. There will be vodka.
Democrats composed a letter calling for Trump to recognize Palestinian statehood. It's the same evil anti-Semitism, Jew hatred coming out now from, mainstream Democrats.
Yep.
By trying to position it well, we care about the Palestinians. You don't give a damn about the Palestinians. No. You just hate Jews. Just admit it. You hate Jews.
Right. We saw it. After October 7th, it was on full display.
Yep. You said it that day, the show after. You said there's no middle ground here, and there is no middle ground.
There is no middle ground.
There's no middle ground.
There's the radicals on one side and everybody else on the other, period.
But so you continue to see it, and it really is an amazing... it really is an amazing time in political history because you just haven't seen, and we're in a time where you've had the Republican Party move more populist and a little bit more socialist, and you have the Democratic Party that has gone bat soup, far left, communist now. Communist and as hateful as you could possibly imagine, practicing identity politics, which is judging people by groups and not individuals. They understand it's a problem. They used to. You don't hear as many voices anymore. Those voices that were saying, we've got to stop identity politics. Basically, you've got Carville left? That's it?
Yeah.
Nobody else is really saying it.
Right.
And nobody cares what Carville says anymore.
No, he's broadcasting from his living room.
Yeah. He has known it, but they've known it. We remember in 2018 when Tim Ryan was saying we've got to stop with the identity politics. Where's Tim Ryan now? Nobody cares. He's not a voice for the Democratic Party anymore.
Nope.
He had to silence himself. They all know it's a problem. They all know that the radical transgender movement is as misogynist as you can possibly imagine. It's absolute women hatred. And so the Democratic Party, full force, racist, misogynist,
communist,
communist, anti-Semitic, and they want that type of government to have much more power over your life. And so it's interesting. It's like, where is that party? Oh, things have gone quiet with the American Party, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to. There's not going to be any pullback from the Democrats. They're not going to change direction all of a sudden. I wonder what populates their advertisements in 26. What do you put in those ads? What in the world do you put in those ads?
We'll take care of you. We mentioned yesterday that what's coming from the communist side of the Democratic Party is we're going to give you everything. The message really hasn't changed.
No, it's been the same
message is still the same.
Yep.
The one message they sell is we'll give you stuff.
Right.
866-90-RED-I.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
Here we are, Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. So I'm just laughing here. We'll mention this. I just burst out laughing because I can't believe it's still a story. Majority of U.S. adults call Sunny Sweeney and the American Eagle ad appropriate amid woke meltdown.
They just can't get over it.
Well, this is a way to get the Epstein files out of the news. Call in Hillary, Bill, James Comey, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, Jeff Sessions, and a whole bunch more.
Yeah.
Subpoena them. Wow.
Let's see how this goes.
It's going to be an interesting next couple of months, isn't it?
It will be.
Top of the Hour News is brought to you by House Products. Visit houseproducts.com.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now, it's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America. We are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Thanks so much for being here this morning. You know, a story I liked yesterday, NASA talking about a lunar nuclear reactor. And looking into it, going, well, why would you want a nuclear reactor? And it's like, oh, okay. And the discussion on why would you need a nuclear reactor for everything, for power. But if you built it where there's a lot more sun, like if it's near the equator, you get 15 hours of sun and then 15 hours of no sun. But if you build it, near the poles, you get a lot more sun, and it's near what they say is the frozen water, which is what they really want. They want a nuclear reactor to actually produce fuel and then oxygen. Fuel to fly back and forth. That they would actually produce it up there. So they say by 2030, it's like, it may not happen. Yeah. And they say there's actually a race, between China and the United States on it. I'm reading here in National Review. Possibly, it's just possible, perhaps even probable, that NASA would look towards the moon's poles. There, the sun shines for most of the year, but low on the horizon and with less direct sunlight. But that's also where the moon's estimated 600 million tons of water ice is located. That's what a reactor would be most useful for, not powering a site for permanent human habitation, which would encounter many technological obstacles, but for taking water molecules apart, providing astronauts with a supply of oxygen and hydrogen. Now, that wouldn't solve all the engineering problems that the lunar colonist would encounter, but it would provide a local source of breathable oxygen to be supplemented with nitrogen and other molecules from Earth and fuel the craft that go from the surface, perhaps a platform in orbit around the moon. Establishing long-term human habitation on the moon is easier said than done. The lunar surface is regularly pelted with meteors that travel at intense speeds with no atmosphere to slow them down. You don't want to be clipped by one. Likewise, the moon is bombarded with solar radiation, and building shelters sufficient to block those rays will require a development and deployment of new technologies. One promising proposal would be to use autonomous 3D printing robots to make radiation-absorbing structures out of the lunar rock. Really interesting. So those are all engineering challenges. But
all right.
So so a small nuclear reactor that would actually get you started. I guess you really can't do anything if you're looking at into the future as a jumping off point and all that. But
yeah.
So, yeah, I just thought it was interesting, the lunar nuclear reactor. And was that 2030 or was that something else I was looking at? Oh, by 2030. That America plans to put a 100-kilowatt nuclear reactor on the surface of the moon by 2030.
So
That's
I
a
wonder
pretty
what the
short
setup for something like that would take.
That's a pretty short time, by the way.
That's a very short time.
Very short.
And, I mean, we're almost at, here in a few months, we'll be looking at 2026. So, yeah, I have my doubts. But what is the setup like that? What are you looking at?
What's the cost?
What's the cost? What are the risks to the crew that would do that?
Who builds it
Right.
by 2030?
Well, I'm guessing, and here's the thing, I'm guessing a lot of it has to be pre-manufactured. And you're going to have to take all of that cargo in one trip, multiple trips.
Oh, multiple trips.
There's, I don't know of anything that we have that could take, again, I don't know what the size is. What are we looking at?
It would be relatively small. Wouldn't be a huge new, but still, to get everything up, to get the people up there, to get the structures up you would need to build it, even if it was a small nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
And everything to support it.
Yeah, I don't know what that looks like. I'd love to see the graphics on a plan. I mean, smarter people than I are I'm sure already knee deep into this. And there's got to be some graphics already. And how many multiple trips are you looking at? And again,
and remember, you're not talking about a big nuclear reactor at all.
no,
because 100 kilowatts is 100,000 watts.
Mm-hmm.
That would only power a very, 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 very small setup.
right.
So you're not talking about building the kind of nuclear reactor here that takes care of a city.
The National Review article has an illustration embedded at the top here. I don't have it for scale as to, you see some panels and some lines between those panels. But I am intrigued.
Yeah.
I'm all for the experiment. Again, what does it take? And, what kind of crew is going to be involved in it? How much can be done through robotics in terms of the setup? I'd love to know more. Pretty intriguing.
And what would you need? I mean, even if the reactor itself is very, very small.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 100 kilowatt, to produce that from a nuclear reactor might not even be the size of this room here.
Right. Yeah.
But still getting it there, setting it up.
I mean, in the amount of cargo like that.
Right. Having it run.
Yeah.
Setting up a small grid.
Now, you know what they could do? They could practice on a Hollywood soundstage. And film it.
By the way,
as if it's real.
I posted, people need to get a life. I posted, on July 20th, the anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had some of our listeners. Well, if you believe it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, get a life. For God's sakes, get a life. I'm looking at here. How many kilowatts does a 100 kilowatt Generac generator? So again, you're not talking about something that's huge.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, speaking about power, at Frizola, when it happened in February of 21, really showed the limitations of the natural gas grid, as I call it, in my neighborhood. Every time it gets really cold out, and I live in a relatively new neighborhood. Mm-hmm. They've got to bring out these trucks that are sitting at the front, all these, natural gas utility trucks to make sure the pressure stays up. A natural gas generator would have been useless for me, completely useless, during Frizola. Mm-hmm. The natural gas just isn't there. My homeowners association also wasn't allowing you to have it. So I decided to get the new lithium-ion battery packs and got my first set. And this first set is really... What I want to run in my house is very simple. The TV, my surround sound system, the refrigerator, a small microwave, coffee maker, internet. I already have the LED lights that have I've got like 20 of them plugged in right now, and just use a couple at a time, and I have other lamps, but they have lithium-ion batteries in them themselves. When the power goes off, they go on. And at low power, they'll last 10 to 12 hours. My whole point is to be able to go a few days and not worry about it with the battery power. And so I got my first, it's 2,000 kilowatt hours is what it is. So actually my batteries would be more powerful than that nuclear reactor.
All right.
And it runs my 55 because I got them last week, the first set. And so I was testing it over the weekend. It runs my 55-inch TV with my Sonos sound system. And I mean the entire thing for about 20 hours. And I did hit the volume loud. And the whole thing recharges in just an hour off a regular plug. Right. So they've made great advancements. And it's not puts out very little heat. I was really I thought it was going to be a lot more heat coming out, especially when charging. Very little heat, very little noise. I mean, I don't even hear the noise. If you get right up to it, you can hear it. A couple of the fans going, but you've got to be right up, within a foot.
Right.
And so they've really made advancements.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of campers and RVers.
Yeah. I was really impressed with the power of it and the ability to recharge. And you find stuff out, it's like the normal maintenance that if you don't twice a year have it at 100% and drain it all the way to zero.
Yeah, cycle through.
Yeah, if you don't cycle through completely twice a year, once every 6 months, the warranty is no good. It's like, wow. And so I did that, brought it up to 100, cycled it down to zero, brought it up to 100 again, and then brought it down to 30, and then charged it to 50, and now it's stored till I need it. And even the app has a little thing if there's a major storm coming in, so you can charge it up because you don't keep it stored long term at 100%.
Right.
But to go the 50% to 100 would take me, it's like, a major storm's coming in, you plug it in 20 minutes later, the whole thing's charged. But it can run the 2,000 kilowatt setup that I have. The one thing I thought is it's never going to run a coffee maker, and it did. No problem at all. Coffee maker draws 1,400 watts.
Yeah, wow.
It's like, wow, I was amazed at how much, but only for a minute.
Right.
So out of the entire battery, it took half of 1%.
Right.
So, but that's very important. You want that coffee. And so for me, again, living in Texas, I just want to be able to, again, run the refrigerator. And the refrigerator, you think about it, you go, wow, that draws a lot. Not really, because the only time I'm really going to, plug in the refrigerator is when I want to open it up. 20 minutes before, put it in, charge it up, get what I want out, put everything back in, run another 20 minutes. It'll shut off. It's good for another, 10, 12 hours?
Mm-hmm.
No problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay, taking care of the basics. Now, furnace and air conditioning, nope, sorry.
Yeah.
Won't cover that, but at least I hate waking up when there's no power. That happened to me about a month ago.
Mm.
Well, I woke up because everything I don't know what it is. I was asleep and everything went off. When everything goes off, the silence is deafening. So
yeah,
that nuclear reactor, it's not going to be big, but still, how do you put it down there? How do you set it up? How do you have some type of grid to do it?
Well, what's the maintenance on something like that?
Yeah, you're right.
Do you have robotics on site for maintenance?
Do you need to do maintenance on something that small?
I mean, if you have, with the rover technology that they have and the remote technology, there are some things you could do, but it's limited. So it would have to be virtually maintenance free. Or you would have to have, I don't know, a mission to the moon every 6 months, every year, based on maintenance needs.
Yeah.
A lot of questions. I'm intrigued, though.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah.
Fascinating. 866-90 Red Eye.
Brought to you by FPPF, Fuel Power Max.
It's a common road rumor that it's impossible for one-truck owner-operators and even carriers with just 2 or 3 trucks to get freight direct from the source, the shipper. Yet, hard-won experience from untold numbers of owner-operators with authority disproves the notion. Search your home base area and, later, frequent freight destinations to find all the manufacturers, distributors, and other shippers in the area. Once you get that list, ask yourself if those companies know who you are and what you do. If not, you're leaving opportunities on the table. Strive to own your backyard, to build a solid foundation for the business. For many a small fleet, it's the loads outbound from home that are the bread and butter. But you can take that same approach to the destination area, identifying shippers there and getting on the phone to make sure they know who you are and what you do. Owner-Operator Business 101 is provided by Overdrive's Partners in Business program. Go to overdriveonline.com to the Partners in Business section of the website for more detail on this and many other topics.
Brought to you by Shell Rotella. With advanced synthetic technology is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90 Red Eye on Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thank you so much for being here this morning. House Oversite Chairman James Comer sent a subpoena to the Department of Justice for records related to the Epstein case and issued subpoenas to compel testimony from several other figures, including former FBI Director James Comey and Robert Mueller, former attorneys generals Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, William Barr, Jeff Sessions, and Alberto Gonzalez. Hillary Clinton is being asked to appear for testimony on October 9th, while Bill Clinton was asked to appear on October 14th. Wow. The committee has given the Department of Justice until August 19th to turn over records relating to the Epstein case. I find this just fascinating. I liked somebody put out a comment yesterday. I can't remember who it was. Probably was just somebody on X or whatever saying, well, none of them are going to show up.
Yeah.
And when they don't show up, or if they take the fifth, well, then that will shut up the media concerning the Epstein case completely. No matter what Comer decides to do, because the next thing would be immunity from prosecution, and then you have to testify.
Right.
But you got to show. Can they all ignore the subpoena? When I first saw the list, I saw the list before I saw what it was for, and I figured it was for Russia collusion at first.
Well, they might do hey, listen, while you're here, we want to ask you some things about that, too.
Catch all 5 hours of the show live every night on the Red Eye Radio app. Available in the App Store. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Just driving me crazy. Everywhere I go, I see the John Cornyn ads. Spending a ton of money early. Texans are saying, thank you, Senator John Cornyn. Cornyn stands with President Trump and is making Texas great again. Thank him for standing with President Trump on the one big, beautiful bill. That's the only thing you see in the ads. The only thing that Cornyn is running, knowing the primary, coming up here in the next year. And it's like, he's been in trouble in the polls. So the only thing is, I stand with Trump. I stand with Trump. I stand with Trump. I stand with Trump. I stand with Trump.
Basically, if you don't vote for me, you're not MAGA.
Yes.
But we don't know what MAGA means anymore, so we can't tell you.
We've had that. Well, it all depends on what the definition of great is.
Right. And, you look at the fact that, of course, Chip Roy, also from Texas. Now, he voted for the one big, beautiful bill twice, but railed against it the entire time. I voted for it, but I didn't like it. And, I don't know. Is that a thing to put in your ad? It's one thing to say, listen, I support the president and his agenda. Do you need to get specific on that? My question is the one big beautiful bill a needle mover itself in a state like Texas? I don't see that.
For a primary, yes. Remember, this is all about the primary. None of it's about the general election.
No, I know that, but I question that for the primary, too. Because who's his main opponent? It's somebody who is going to say, I want to be more conservative than Cornyn.
But is a loyal Trumper.
Right. But
he's viewed as a more loyal Trumper than Cornyn is. Cornyn is not viewed as a loyal Trumper.
Right.
And understand, what do they market in the big, beautiful bill? All they market is what we're going to give you. That's the populist part of the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
What we're going to give you. The Republican Party does not care. The majority of Republicans no longer care about the debt.
And so the opponent will promote what? In the primary?
That Cornyn is a MAGA poser.
That he's not MAGA enough?
That he's not MAGA enough. I don't know how you do that right now. I mean, the things that have changed MAGA would be the Epstein files, big time. But also Trump on Israel and Trump, not all of MAGA. Because, again, we're talking about the the influencer MAGA portion of it. There are many people that say I support Trump and I'm MAGA, but they agree with Trump on now siding much more with Ukraine as of yesterday against Russia and seeming to be taking a hard line on Russia and overall, without question, support for Israel. Those are the three things that I believe really that have split the influencer MAGA portion of it. But now they seem to be all getting back on board, what I can see, the ones that I normally follow, by all promoting the fact that it's wonderful that the Republicans are taxing the American public. And so, like I said, it's a weird time. You know, we said it earlier. The Republican Party has gone more populist and in parts more socialist than they've been in a long time, in decades. And the Republican Party has gone the Democratic Party has gone communist. But nobody cares about the debt. No one talks about the debt. President doesn't talk about the debt. Every time I hear promises made, promises kept, I go, except for the debt.
Yeah,
because that we're gonna solve the debt will be gone. No problem. Solve it. Nobody in the administration talks about debt anymore. No one, except over the last couple of days, they've talked about the fact, Trump has talked about the fact that the tariff revenue is going to help pay off the debt. And it's not. And the reason it isn't going to is the economic growth of 3% is not projected to be there. I hope it is. You know,
well, it's going to have to be a hell of a third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, right now I've seen roughly 1.5% for this year. But you're talking long term over a 10-year period, because that's what the budget, Big Beautiful Bill, was about. And we haven't seen that in the longest time. Now, getting rid of a ton of regulations, yeah, that could help. Being able to expense everything now, yeah, that could help. Not right now, but I think when, October 1st, after that rolls around. Mm-hmm. So that's still, what you would see on that would still be a while away, but the problem is it's tick, tick, tick till the midterms. And if the economy is where it is right now, and it's true on the vast majority of the polls that the American public is not pleased with the economy, and all the Democrats are talking about, they're not talking about he's a communist, Mandami, or that they're moving much more communist. All they're saying is government control, we will make prices cheaper. Will that change districts out there? And so, again, it's a long time, before next year's, midterms. But debt is not an issue for the Republicans anymore at all.
No, it hasn't been.
Yeah, it's like I said. Even though he when Trump brought it up again, I think it was yesterday, where he said, "Well, we may give some checks back to the American public, but the fact is the majority of this is going to go pay off the debt." No, it's not.
No.
Even if it was double what it doesn't cover the interest on the debt.
Yeah.
If it was over double of what they're pulling in right now, it would not pay off even the interest on the debt. So, again, I don't know who the president's talking to in the Republican Party, or who he's talking to when he's saying this is going to pay off the debt. I don't know. But it is amazing that the Republican Party is now cheering the additional taxes on the American public, as if it's the best thing to show. Well, for example, you and I have talked about this before. We're for tariffs when you're confronting somebody with unfair trading practices. I don't like it because it stifles one of three things, or a combination of all of the above that we've talked about before, which would be economic growth, which would be job creation, and higher prices. Every time you, and I love the Republicans, I get people fighting me on it. No, it doesn't. Well, of course it does. If you raise the cost of doing business, it's going to affect an economy in a negative way, in one of those three ways, or a combination of all of them. It always does.
Yeah, there's going to be the negative economic impact.
Right.
And now you have retailers that are talking about, and the car companies and car retailers that are talking about, all right, we can hold the line for so long until we have to change the sticker prices in a significant way.
Well, I even, one thing I saw on X that I thought was interesting, the Japanese trade deal. Well, now you hear the talk. Even the president responded, well, if that investment isn't there, we're going to raise tariffs again. But you're making trade deals that the government of the other country is making promises that they can't keep, and they know they can't keep because they have no control over private investment.
Everything is a pledge.
Right.
And it's a pledge just to get on with business. It's not a pledge you can keep.
So you're already seeing.
By the way, it's a pledge if you say, for how long?
Well, when
for in the case of Trump, you only need to get through with that pledge through 28, basically, and you don't need to live up to it before then. Well, we're working to do this. We're working to do this. We promise to do this. A pledge is nothing. There's nothing, and there never is anything binding because you can't tie it to the consuming public's demand in any of these nations.
Well, you can, both sides could.
There's nothing enforceable.
Both sides could put tariffs on, and they're enforceable. You can't enforce a free society. It's like if the United States, if Trump went to another country and said, we promise $1 trillion of investment in your country. Well, he can't make that promise. It's a private sector. There's nothing that they can do on it. They can't force. General Motors are going to force you to do this. And the European Union said it. Well, nothing really can't. We can't tell our companies what to do. We can't tell private investors what to do. We're a private sector economy. We can't do that. And then Trump the other day said, well, if you don't do it, we're going to increase tariffs. Well, who are you threatening?
Do you want these governments to take their government money and make the purchases and store the goods they're going to buy? Yeah, what are you looking for?
Well, but the investment is not buying. The investment is actual cash into the United States to invest.
Right.
And
so you want government money?
And then with the whole thing with Japan. And the administration's not arguing it. They're not, when they haven't defended it. It's like with the Japan free trade deal, it is cheaper to buy a Japanese vehicle now from Japan than a car made in North America that has North American parts and a lot more American parts than the Japanese vehicle. And the response has been from the surrogates, from the influencers, well, then every single car part, and every single thing must be made in the United States. Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen. It's as if prices mean nothing to the influencers.
Right.
To the MAGA influencers. It's like price is no big deal. They just ignore as if price doesn't matter. Well, of course price matters. And it's funny because people I don't have an opinion on economics. It's the observation of reality. Economics doesn't care what my opinion is, doesn't care what your opinion is, doesn't care what any world leader's opinion is. Economics is economics. It's how people respond to incentive.
Well, it's like, the EU deal includes the commitment to purchase $750 billion in energy through 2028. So you want them to take government money and purchase that and store the energy? Or if there's not enough, if that demand which, by the way, would be a massive, massive increase.
Well, they made the deal not understanding that the United States fully in all energy to every single country we export is $160 billion.
Right.
To get to that point, you're talking about $250 billion a year. To all countries, it's simply $160 billion.
Right.
So you're making investment promises back and forth that neither side really can keep. And then when you talk about you want the massive investment from other countries, that increases the trade deficit. And Holman Jenkins wrote it. What is the point of what we're doing here? What's the eventual point?
What are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah,
which is what we've been asking.
Yeah. 866-98-RED-I.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-I.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Coming up on the top of the hour, more audio cuts on gerrymandering and what's going on in the state of Texas here. I think it was not Mark Mitchell. I can't think of his name. I just can't think of his name right now. I got mind blank here.
Nate Silver?
No. He was part of the Trump administration. Mark Meadows. Mark Meadows said they're going to come back and they're going to get it through. So this is all performance art.
Yeah, right.
So we'll get to that coming up.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now, it's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Reading this headline here from Breitbart, Eric. Yeah. Majority of U.S. adults call Sunny Sweeney's American Eagle ad appropriate amid a woke meltdown. So the YouGov poll conducted on August 1st, last Friday, surveyed 3,500 U.S. adults. Now, these are not registered voters or likely voters. These are just people.
All right.
About the appropriateness of the wordplay in the American Eagle Sunny Sweeney ad. The overall sample, 52% found the ad's wordplay appropriate, 16% deemed it inappropriate, 32%, I don't know. Now, that is a huge accomplishment. You only have 16% that said, basically it was inappropriate, they were offended by the ad. Only 16% in this day and age where everybody's offended by everything. 32% didn't know what they thought about the ad.
I find that disappointing. That number's way too low. Most people shouldn't know and shouldn't care. That should be in the 70 to 75 percentile range.
I don't care. And I don't care.
I don't care.
There was a noticeable partisan divide. Really?
You don't say.
While the vast majority of Republicans, 64%, said the ad campaign was appropriate, less than half of Democrats and independents, 46 and 49%, said the same. Now, was it not appropriate? They didn't ask why, though.
Cleavage or eugenics?
Right, exactly.
Or both?
Yes. Was it cleavage, eugenics, or both?
Well, in this case, also qualifying the pollsters, name the three branches of government and define eugenics. After that, you can answer the other questions. If you can't answer those, we got to go.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was funny because a buddy of mine asked me yesterday, what is eugenics? And I said, that's a supplement that the testosterone supplement that Doug Flutie promotes.
Yeah. It's got to be a supplement.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's Nugenics.
No. Well, that's different. Yeah, it's, they've lost their mind and they won't let it go. They've latched on to something and they just won't let it go. They're obsessed. Just obsessed. But, all right, that's fine.
And people want to wait. Eugenics, basically, in being blunt, is the fact that you're promoting breeding in a certain way to come up with the best characteristics of a human being.
Right.
Whatever they are.
Whatever that would be.
However you interpret it.
Yeah.
Blonde hair, blue eyes. Well, my hair's got darker, but I used to have really blonde hair and I have blue eyes. Does that mean that I'm what everybody wishes to be?
No. No, it doesn't. No. It doesn't say gray hair and red eyes.
You mean my characteristics do not define me as the epitome of the supreme race? The ultimate eugenics? Me?
If it was a guy doing that ad and it was, a real guy, my genes are somewhat clean.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, that entire thing is just stupid. Beyond stupid. But I'm glad that the left is acting the way they act. In this world today, what's interesting is as the Democratic Party and the left movement, the radical left movement, became more radical and created identity politics. Well, when they did that and they start breaking people into different subgroups to be a victim so that, again, you have more and more oppressors. That way the Democrats can save you from all the oppressors in the world. We said eventually it's going to get down to the individual. And we're here. We're at that point. And at some point, you're going to be the oppressor. Gavin Newsom can't even have a guest on his podcast, if that's still even going on, without being shredded. AOC getting shouted at her own town hall meetings.
Oh, yeah, it's wonderful.
Those, they don't see it coming because they don't see what they're doing. You don't see the making of it. And it's been going on for many years. But now they're to the point in today's social media world, everything needs to be about me anyway, right? Everybody's the oppressor. Nobody is my hero. I'm the hero. I'm the boss. Well, that makes it even more difficult to find the people to run for office.
Well, and it's leaking into the right. You and I talked about, with the whole Epstein thing with Trump, how we noticed that the MAGA influencers, it's like, yeah, but you don't have the same opinion as Trump, and you're promoting yourself as MAGA.
Right.
Isn't Trump MAGA?
Right.
Isn't the only MAGA Trump, no matter what he says? Isn't he MAGA?
Aren't you following him, is he following you?
If you're not following him, how can you be MAGA? And we've noticed this, the individualizing where I wish to be part of the tribal group, even if I don't agree with the tribal group. And then I get to the point, well, then, because we asked the question, and it didn't happen, but we were anticipating, is there going to be a one of the, as we call them, MAGAs, influencers that you see, especially on X, are they going to come out? Is somebody actually going to come out and say, I'm more MAGA than Trump is now? I've seen that in comments.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I
don't know what you hope to get from that, because up until now, it's been about, well, quite frankly, riding his coattails. Do people expect others to ride their coattails? Or Trump to ride their coattails?
Because that's a good point. I'll take that one.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Now, you can say, well, I disagree with the president on this. But really, you can't claim anything in terms of trying to claim MAGA for yourself. That's all his.
I just find that to do that myself would be quite exhausting. It's simply, well, here are my beliefs. You and I said way back, and we got hit with, I'll never forget, we would get bombarded. Well, are you guys Tea Party or not? Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I said, well, that's not the question. The premise is wrong. It's not whether I agree with the Tea Party. It's whether the Tea Party agrees with me. Yeah. Now, I was not, and you were not bragging that we were the Tea Party, and we were more Tea Party than the Tea Party.
No.
Because people forget that when the Tea Party first began, there were Democrats and Republicans both trying to co-opt it.
Right.
It finally became a Republican cry and more of a conservative cry.
But that first rally in April of 2009, you had a mix of Democrats and Republicans. And then Republicans kicked out the Democrats, and
it's like you're not really Tea Party, but that was the thing. It's much easier doing it. Well, these are my beliefs. Does the politician agree with me? Instead of trying to figure out where you align with a label.
Well, I don't pretend to be a kingmaker. I don't pretend. I'm not going to pretend to be a leader of people. I'm somebody with strong convictions. I'm a citizen. And those in office, even the ones I vote for, work for me. And if they're doing something I disagree with, I'm going to talk about it. If they do something I agree with, I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah. And I can vote for someone multiple times, once or multiple times, and still disagree with them on an issue the day after I vote for them, the day that I vote for them.
If he was eligible for a third term, I'd vote for Trump again. I'm certain of it.
Isn't he?
We're working on it.
Okay. Work harder.
Yeah. Hunter Biden's volunteering his time to make it happen. You want to talk about scorched earth for the Democrats? I'll help them get elected again. Yeah. It's because, again, there is no unicorn.
I did see, bringing that up, I did see because yesterday Trump basically said, that J.D. Vance is the heir apparent. And I was waiting for Democrats to come out and say, see, they're doing exactly what for Harris. He's anointing. No. J.D. Vance still will have to undergo the primary process.
Right.
Republicans have not given up on the primary process like the Democrats.
Now, it will be interesting because speaking of the whole MAGA thing, is Trump will be in J.D. Vance's corner.
Mm-hmm.
Some suspect that Donald Trump Jr. may be on that ticket with J.D. Vance, or that will be the hopes. But if Donald Trump Jr. is part of the J.D. Vance campaign, if people named Trump are pushing J.D. Vance, then it's going to be hard to, in that, and depending on what happens between now and then, but if everything remains, and I expect most things to remain as they are politically for the GOP, then you're not going to have, somebody coming out and greatly criticizing J.D. Vance during that primary without risking that, losing that endorsement by, Trump. I mean, the promise would be, if I can overcome this deficit, right? Whoever it might be, I don't know who that would be, because we think of the names that have been there before, Ramaswamy or whoever it might be, So it will be a primary process. We'll see if DeSantis, jumps in.
What about the America Party candidate?
It's interesting. I was looking at the X page for which is at America for the America Party. They got what was it 1.1 million followers.
Is it over though? After is it over?
I think it is.
I think it's over too. Especially when Musk took the
1.1 million followers is not a lot for a PAC that is started by Elon Musk. Now, they haven't done anything yet, and you could say, well, it would grow once they start to be more active. But Elon, of course, he owns X, but has 223 million followers. 1.1 for the America Party isn't huge. I think he's probably done being a part of politics in a big way. I think the Tesla move on the $30 billion deal to keep him on board, which was announced earlier this week, I think there was probably an agreement, if even an unsaid agreement, between the board of directors at Tesla and Elon Musk. Stay away from the political game. Do what you do, because his innovation, you don't want to compete. And Tesla, the board at Tesla, doesn't ever want to compete with Elon Musk. But you also don't want the heat that comes with being overly political. And I think Elon's even said, he's probably not going to be as involved as he was in the past. But even with a PAC, I don't know what it does. Look, you might have a few ads out there, but I don't think it's going to be big. Tesla
investor James Fishback told Axios Musk just had to blow off steam about Trump's big, beautiful bill. He goes, Fishback's investment firm postponed a planned Tesla ETF earlier this month in response to Musk's return to electoral politics, but now it's back on board.
Yeah.
He said, I look at the half-life of how this guy operates, explaining that Musk recently announced the integration of Grok AI into Tesla cars and the expanded robotaxi app in Austin. Both ideas are already implemented. It's been 17 days since he last said he was going to start the American Party. There's no filing, no candidate, no comment.
No,
there's nothing of substance.
I think it will be, if it's anything, at the most, I think it'll be a small PAC with a few ads here and there. He posted something. He reposted something from the America PAC X page earlier about D.C. and that whole thing, about federalizing it and what's going on there. But I don't think it's going to be huge. I don't think it's going to be a massive
He
movement.
was really the last cry of anyone on the Republican side caring about the debt.
That was it.
That was it.
No, he shut the door on that.
Yeah.
His exit was the closing of that door. He didn't do that, but yeah, it's over. If in the age of Doge, we don't care, then we don't care.
866-98 Red Eye.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Looking here at that Axios article. This is 6 days ago on Elon Musk. Said though it has not made any filings this year, the super PAC, that's the America super PAC, spending power remains an electoral weapon. Experts believe that Musk will still spend to back candidates who he prefers, but that it won't be a major draw on Musk's attention or efforts in the way running a third party would be. SpaceX, Musk's space technology company, also warned investors in a risk statement filing that Musk could continue to devote significant time and energy to politics, including a possible future role similar to leading Doge, according to a recent Bloomberg Law report. What's next? His friend, Jason Calacanis, said, I think he should take the America PAC and instead of making it just pro-MAGA, he should just clearly define what he believes. He said in a recent The All In podcast, and then he should go and back the people who are running to be in Congress and senators and say, hey, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to be in favor of this and do what what Grover Norquist did with his no new taxes pledge, except this would be the, I'm assuming, no new debt pledge or no new deficit pledge.
I guess.
I don't know how you live up to that one.
Yeah, good luck.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
And we are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. What a beautiful lead headline for the Babylon Bee.
Yeah?
Secret Service in awe as Trump walks on a moderately sloped roof. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Oh.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, as we just got into the conversation about talking about the America Party that Elon Musk was going to start, and then everything's really gone quiet on it. I mean, extremely quiet. It's like, okay, back to business. You got to get back to business here. I was just, there's in articles, you see it out every day. The American system of government has failed the people because we can't get a third party. Well, we have third parties and fourth parties and fifth parties that, you've got the Communist Party, you've got the Socialist Party, you've got the Green Party. You got a ton of parties out there.
It's like kids complaining, we never have broccoli. We do. It's rotting in the bottom of the vegetable drawer.
We need the broccoli party. I like that.
You know what I mean?
The broccoli party.
Well, no, I mean, it's
all stuff. We're the party that promotes what's good for you, even though you don't like it.
Right.
We're the broccoli party.
Well, but do you know why the two parties have some similarities? They're not, it isn't where, well, I can't even tell them apart anymore. I can. I can tell them apart. One has a guy named Mamdani. The other one does not.
Well, you do see that. There's no difference between the two parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. There's a few differences. Just a few. Just a few.
One cannot identify what a woman is. The other can.
Yeah.
That is a pretty huge difference. Before we go into any other topic, that's a huge difference. Now, when it comes to things like the debt, they're getting closer than they used to be.
Well, I'd say, on fiscal issues, they're pretty similar.
Right.
And why is that? Because the rank and file are pretty similar on it.
Yeah.
And they feel about the same on it. I mean, roughly within. They're all in the same building. They're all in the same ballpark. But and by the way, I would credit Donald Trump and I can't measure how much of it is a result of TDS and the response to Donald Trump. But during the Trump era, socially speaking, on the issues, there is a very clear line between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. And I don't know how much I can credit President Trump himself for that. I think they're to a large degree, as we've always said, that you've been saying for years, look, he's pretty much mainstream. But TDS brings out, of course, what you see in the left and what they're doing, have been doing for years.
This isn't talked about enough because, we had talked before about the whole MAGA thing, that are you MAGA? It's the same thing. Are you Tea Party or not Tea Party? I think the one big thing that isn't covered enough is that it isn't that, you've got a lot of influencers or whatever and a lot of people that are, I'm MAGA, I'm MAGA, I'm MAGA. There's a ton of young people out there that don't view Trump in the form of being the head of a group of people called MAGA. I think they view Trump as an outsider.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I still think today they view Trump as an outsider. That Trump, he isn't beholden to the Republicans. He's not beholden to the Democrats out there. He does what he wants to do when he wants to do it. He's very powerful. He's a very powerful, very powerful and can be an intimidating person if he wishes to be, and also the most gracious person from I think you've seen it, people like Bill Maher will say it, that have met him, say extremely gracious, extremely, friendly, extremely concerned, and can be as intimidating as all hell. And people look at that and say, that's an individual. Well, what are you looking for? Well, we're looking for somebody that doesn't conform to the party all the time. That's Trump.
Yeah.
And so that can be attractive to that person who is looking, what is it? We saw the attempt, and I'm not going to say the America Party is actually an attempt to create a third party as of yet. It just isn't. But if you look at a major third party.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. But the No Labels Party was.
Yeah. It was a horrible attempt, but it was an attempt.
That was an attempt. And think how bad that was. No labels. Well, we need a third party. Well, we're your third party. What are you? We're the moderate party. We're the one. That porridge is too hot. That porridge is too cold. Our porridge is just right.
We're the just right party.
Oh, so now we're getting this from we're getting our politics from the Three Bears?
Right. Well, let me see. I don't know. Are you Goldilocks or are you Three Bears?
No, that's a great point. But the No Labels Party, I mean, it was, I'm sorry, we said it before. Actually, I'm not sorry, but because it's like I'm name calling, but I have not seen anything as childish in attempting to form a political party as I saw with No Labels.
Oh, and it was so.
And I say childish because it was like they played the American public as if the American public was a bunch of complete idiots and it's like, well, you can't do that. The Democrats have already done that. So you need to be a different party. You can't assume that everybody's an idiot and will buy into anything. But it was when they wouldn't take a stand on any of the issues.
Right.
Well, we're not going to take a stand on the issues because if we take a stand on the issues, then we take a stand on the issues, well, then people might criticize us. Well, that's like a football team saying, we're not going to, we're not going to play football. We're a football team, but we're not going to play football because if we play football, we might lose and people will get mad at us. So we're going to call ourselves a football team, but we're actually not going to play football. And then you might say, yeah, but the Cowboys already exist.
I was going to say, look, we're going to be an 8-8 team. We're going to be part loser, part winner. We're going to be a team for everybody. That's the Cowboys. I've been saying that for years.
We're going to be the
The no labels party.
the no win party.
Yeah, the no trophies party.
The no trophies.
We don't need trophies.
And so, I just find it fascinating that as you have, I would say the majority of calls come from the liberal media that there needs to be a new party.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that. If you look at, go through all the different publications, if you look at things like the Washington Examiner, the New York Post, National Review, Wall Street Journal editorial page, you look at it and you say, okay, is there really ever a call there for a third party? And there isn't. It always seems to come from the mainstream media, and normally it comes from the fact of when their party is failing miserably.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, what does a new party bring you? But we need to get out of the two-party system. No, what you're saying is we need to get out of the two-party majority system. Well, you just can't do that by having a new party. You have to attract. There has to be that much of a void where people are attracted to that particular party. And so the No Labels Party was, hey, we're going to be the new political party. We're not going to be too hot. We're not going to be too cold. We're not going to be too right. We're not going to be too left. All right, where do you stand on the issues? We can't tell you, because if we tell you, then you'll judge us on that and you might not like us. What the hell you think you're doing? It's politics. It's all about issues.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to tell you what the issues are right now. Come aboard with us, unite with us together, and then we'll decide where we stand on the issues. That was actually what they were doing.
You have to pass it so you can see what's in it.
And they were viewed as like, this is the kind of responsible political party that's been needed out there today. What are you, nuts?
Yeah, it's insanity, and they thought it was going to work.
Now, Elon Musk may be right that the niche that's not being hit politically is the fiscally responsible one that he believes is needed, and I will agree with that. That discussion is not intense enough in our society today.
Well, if anything, if nothing else, if it is a PAC that puts ads out and, again, motivates people, puts information out about what's going on and on fiscal matters, then great. I don't expect it to be more than that.
Right. Well, because the people don't want it.
No.
People in the United States do not want it.
Even to that extent.
They say they want it.
It's going to be, a very small, you're preaching to a very small choir. It's more of a quartet.
Well, it might be the
trio.
Might be the 1 point whatever million.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
That said, look, we just, even though I'm a Republican, we got to focus more on the debt. We just have to. It's going to come back and bite us.
Well,
we just can't continue to do this.
And by the way, the trend is the fiscal conservatives are going away. The trend is there are fewer and fewer by the day. So by the time we get to 28 or even 26, it just becomes more of a yawn. And I hate that. I hate the fact that in the age of Doge, you get everybody worked up. Everybody had their William Wallace face paint on. We want our freedom. Imagine he gets on that horse with all of his face paint on. Fellas, I was talking about the freedom, but I'm thinking, no, maybe not so much.
Yeah, but the problem with Doge, and we recognize it immediately, is they were throwing out a load of horse manure. With what he said he could cut. No, I'm not saying the effort wasn't admirable and something that should have happened, but when he was saying we can cut $2 trillion from this budget, and then it went to $1 trillion, then it went to $100 billion, then it went to nothing.
Sure.
Nothing.
Well, no, the inner workings of the organization itself were, I think, flawed from the beginning. But my point is, the excitement surrounding Doge, when have we had that much interest on fiscal matters in recent years?
Never. Coming from the top like that?
And what came out of it?
Yeah.
Nothing.
More I will say this. The idea, and I think the Trump administration is actually hopefully doing stuff on this, which would be great, is updating systems so they're more efficient in departments of government. Whether it is the Treasury Department, whether it's the Treasury Department, the IRS, air traffic control, modernize the systems that we have here to make them more efficient. And if you look at one of the good things out of the jobs report, as we have mentioned a few times.
Which, by the way, would probably cost more government money. And not be a fiscal savings. You're going to have to do a boatload of investment in that regard. Now, long term, it becomes a more efficient process, and that's what you hope for.
Right. But you look at the efficiencies out there. But when you look at the fact of how many federal employees have been cut and our service is less.
Right.
That's the one thing we talked about. One of the great things in the job report is the number of government workers, not state and local, because that went up if you take the average of 3 months, that's gone up.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole point is with federalism is you want a lot smaller federal government and if the government gets bigger, closer to the people, it's still forced to be more efficient. 866-90 Red Eye.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. There's a headline, Bill and Hillary subpoenaed in House Oversite Epstein probe. Now, wait a minute. This is going to be closed door, right? I don't want a closed door.
Nah.
No. A peer testimony. No, it's got to be before the cameras.
Great.
It's just going to be interesting to see how they all respond. We'll get to that coming up here in a little bit. The absolute, the hateful anti-Semitism from the Democrats. We'll get to more of that and a whole bunch more.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now, it's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
A new study from Microsoft has revealed the top jobs that are most vulnerable to workers being displaced by AI. And the 40 jobs deemed the most AI-proof.
Okay.
The study found, and by the way, this is something that you and I have talked about before. The study found that many jobs in blue-collar fields are the safest from AI. The paper titled "Working with AI: Measuring the Occupational Implications of Generative AI" found that interpreters and translators was the job title that would be most affected by the use of AI.
But actually, right now, that's They have things. They have so many devices that have the translators. Your phone has a translator if you know how to use it.
Yep.
I saw that at the when I was getting my driver license renewal. When was that? Last year. And there was a gentleman there, and he couldn't speak English, and the woman at the counter where he was didn't speak Spanish, but he spoke into the phone, and then she spoke into the phone, and they were able to carry on a conversation. I tried out some hearing aids recently that had a language translator in them. You can get them. I believe they're available on some earbuds models, but I can't tell you which ones. But that technology, the translator, it's the first thing I thought of because I had a friend who spoke 9 languages. His name is Lee. This guy is so smart. 9 languages, and he had this great restaurant that I loved, and I was just heartbroken because he was closing it down to be a full-time translator. He was traveling so much. His wife told us, because he was gone more and more from the restaurant, and that's the first thing I thought of when I started seeing this AI translation technology. Because translators, you make good money. I would say that if you're a good translator and also know these countries that these highly paid individuals or executives go to, you're probably still going to be in the game for the next 15 to 20 years. But you won't need a regular translator, that you would be hired for just as a tourist, that a tourist would hire. Probably isn't going to be necessary. There are so many things that are going to be, once they integrate them. The Grok AI, we talked about it earlier, being integrated into Tesla cars, and then the self-driving. I think, what do they call it? Is it Hail from Tesla, where you can hail a car, and someone tried that, or actually a number of people have, and recorded it on social media, and they were like, no driver, nothing. So it's like Lyft and Uber. Car picks you up, takes you where you're going, which is the future. They launched that in Austin and I think San Francisco. And in the metro areas, that'll be a big thing. So even being an Uber driver might be in the future, might not be a gig.
So here it is. So interpreters and translators, number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, these are the jobs most likely to be displaced by AI. Historians, number 2. Okay. Now, there's only 3,000 historians in the United States. Passenger attendants, number 3. That doesn't mean like flight attendants, though. That means like on trains and ships and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
Sales representatives of services, number 4. Writers and authors, number 5.
Yeah.
Customer service representatives, number 6. Oh, boy. It means more likely not to get a human being.
Oh, yeah. They're giving up on that.
Well, they better make it. They better make it quite impressive, because right now automation doesn't cut it for any problem that I have. I'll tell you this: 95% of the time, automation can't handle the challenge that I have, and they put me through the whole thing before I finally go to an operator. By the time I get to the operator, by the time I get to that human being, I'm livid.
So the pharmacy that I use answers with the automation. Welcome to so-and-so pharmacy. And by the way, if you've never used so-and-so pharmacy, you should try it.
Yeah, they're so-and-so, though.
And then it says, just tell me what you need help with. you can say things like refill or, and then I hit 0, which is get me to a person. Okay, but I can help you with most things. And then I hit 0 again. And the voice, I swear to you, says, all right. It was like, I should record it because it's exactly in that tone, that frustrated tone. I can almost, it's a female voice. I can almost hear her breathe. All right. I'll get somebody on the phone for you. Loser. I'm pretty sure I heard loser. I don't know if, I'm trying to think the last time I used anything automated over the phone, any automated menu on customer service that actually did what I needed done thoroughly. Your balance is, well, no, I know my balance. Well, to go to the main menu, it just circles around, and it's.
But when I call, because I can handle 99.99% of everything on the app. When I actually make the call, I need to talk to a person, because at that point, the app, which is the automation they're going to use across the board, can't handle it. It is a specific problem. And when it takes sometimes, I don't know, 5-6 minutes to get through just the menu, and then you'll do it and you get the repeat, that drives you crazy.
Yeah.
But so here we go. The jobs most affected by AI that will be affected: interpreters and translators, historians, passenger attendants, sales representatives of services, writers and authors, customer service representatives, CNC tool programmers. Learn to code, huh? Maybe not. Telephone operators.
Wow.
Telephone operators, ticket agents, and travel clerks. You ready for this one? Broadcast announcers and radio DJs.
Yeah.
Brokerage clerks, farm and home management educators, telemarketers, political scientists, news analysts, reporters, and journalists. Oh, my gosh, that totally, completely, and totally relates to Jim Acosta yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, he just got blasted today.
Well, it's just,
or yesterday.
It was just weird. Because I'd say this. Broadcasters, if you're talking about, like, I have an app on my truck. I can have it read the headlines for me, right? I mean, I have satellite radio. I have, all the radio stations I can listen to, and I can listen that way, or I can have Google News and have it read it to me. So broadcasting is one thing. Opinion making, I want to see the AI for that.
Well, when they say news analysts,
that's the one that caught my attention.
That's the one, and
because it's what the left calls opinion makers. Analyst. Well, nah, you're pretty much just putting your opinion in. Opinion maker. So I don't know that AI is going to offer up any good opinion maker.
When you look at it, because looking at our business and other businesses that are personality driven, nothing can replace a particular personality.
No.
And you may be,
and there won't be a demand for it.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Well, these are AI personalities. For example, when you look, because you and I were talking about just a little bit off the air about podcasting and Howard Stern. If you're, for example, so many of the podcasters that are out today are the content, and we were talking about Howard Stern and whether he's going to be, whether that story was out there, and A lot of people are saying he's done, and that's not the story. He's not done yet. What they're saying is they're not going to pay him the amount of money that they were paying him.
Right.
And you and I were talking about the fact that somebody like him, he used to be the content.
Yeah, everything used to revolve around him and his comments and his personality.
Right. It wasn't what a guest said, it's what he said.
Right.
And now he's basically, he interviews celebrities and their softball.
And when he started back in the day, after he started having celebrity guests on, because he didn't always. At first, it was just him.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he had celebrity guests on, he actually was a very good interviewer.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
There were questions he would ask. I was like, oh, that's a great question. And he could really pull out of any celebrity, some answers that you probably wouldn't get otherwise. And then, that was the attraction. And he also was very independent minded. But in recent years, he's just, he's become beyond soft. His celebrity interviews are nothing special at all.
And when he said, again, he basically did the Colbert thing where he said, if
you voted for Trump,
right,
then don't demand
listen.
You stop listening. Well, people did.
And
they
the other, I thought would hurt him more with it, and I was never really a stern listener, but I thought would probably hurt him more, just analyzing it from afar, was when he was so paranoid about COVID.
Yeah.
To the point of paranoid where he didn't go out at all. He sat at home.
Right. Now, he's always been, a bit of a recluse, but this was different. This wasn't just staying at home because he didn't want to go out. This was he was afraid to go out.
Yeah, he wouldn't go out to dinner. He wouldn't go do anything.
Yeah.
And he promoted the fact that he was absolutely paranoid. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't sound like somebody who's on the edge, which is what made him famous.
Yeah.
Was being on
bold,
on the edge.
Unafraid.
And so when you see the growth of podcasts out there, when you see, particular personalities that exist out there and the chemistry between them, like the great chemistry of those incredible talents at Red Eye Radio,
yes.
in all humbleness.
Unmatched.
No, but it's tough to recreate that. And if that's profitable and people know you're actually a human being, that's always going to have that's always going to have a certain attraction. And when you look at what's really growing today, personality podcasts all over the place.
Well, I was just, reading about in some of this stories covering the whole Howard Stern thing about the Smartless podcast, which I've seen a few clips from on YouTube, but it's Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes. And SiriusXM has the rights now. They got the rights reportedly for about $100 million, which is huge because I didn't think that podcast was massive. I don't know about other platforms, how well it does on Spotify or anything else. But the point is, there's a demand for it. And why is there? Well, they're all three celebrities, but they also have unique personalities. Not every celebrity, by the way, can just jump into the podcast realm and make it work. Sometimes it doesn't take off, but that unique personality, it's, there's the likability factor or just maybe the way you present things. It could be a number of things or all the above. And duplicating that with AI is going to be really, really hard. Also, there are, you already have YouTube and other platforms that are demonetizing AI-created content. You can post it, but you can't monetize it. And that's going to be interesting to see where that goes because I think to myself, oh, what about animation? A lot of animation is automation. CGI in movies has been for years.
We'll have the rest of the list coming up next, 866-90 Red Eye.
Brought to you by Hot Shot Secret.
Hi, I'm Jen Loomis, a transport safety expert at J.J. Keller, and I'm here to share a tip on roadside inspections. At a roadside inspection, inspectors may ask to see supporting documents. A supporting document is a document generated or received by a motor carrier in the normal course of business that can be used by law enforcement to verify a driver's logs. These documents can include bills of lading, itineraries, schedules, or equivalent documents that indicate the origin and destination of each trip. They can also include dispatch or trip records, expense receipts related to on-duty/not driving periods, including receipts for meals, lodging, and fuel, electronic mobile communication transmitted through a fleet management system, and payroll records, settlement sheets, or equivalent documents that indicate payment to a driver. Drivers using paper logs must also keep toll receipts. Supporting documents must contain the driver's name, carrier-assigned identification number or vehicle unit number that can be linked to the driver, the date, the name of the nearest city, town, or village, and the time. This tip was brought to you by J.J. Keller and Associates. Visit us at jjkeller.com.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Okay, looking at the jobs most susceptible to AI. Now, by the way, it doesn't mean your job would necessarily be replaced, but it could change drastically because of it. That's the other thing. Job might be replaced. A lot of them will be, but these are also jobs that will change because of it. Proofreaders, copy markers, technical writers, mathematicians, editors, business teachers, post-secondary, public relations specialists, advertising sale agencies, new account clerks, statistical assistants, counter and rental clerks. I don't know. I keep thinking Seinfeld getting the rent-a-car there. That's why I started laughing. Data scientists, personal financial advisors, economics teachers, web developers, management analysts, geographers, models.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. That means the next American Eagle ad could be AI. Then that takes the eugenics complaints out of it, right? Completely.
No. No.
They'll find a way to put it back in.
Yeah. Yeah, just give it a second.
Now, those are just the jobs that are most susceptible. The 10 jobs with the lowest exposure to AI we'll have coming up following the bottom of the hour.
All right.
Catch all 5 hours of the show live every night on the Red Eye Radio app. Available in the App Store. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. All right, the top 10 jobs with the lowest exposure to AI. Phlebotomist, number 1. If you draw blood from humans...
I'll be seeing my phlebotomist tomorrow.
Nursing assistants, number 2. Hazardous materials removal workers.
Yeah.
Helpers, painters, plasterers. Embalmers.
Well, yeah.
Plant and system operators, including sewage treatment plants.
Yeah.
Like if you're the person that basically gets in that special suit that they put down in the settling tanks of sewage treatment plants in order to fix problems in there. And I'm not going to go into further details. I think most of you know what I mean. And if you're getting ready for breakfast, you're probably saying, shut up, Gary. Your job is safe.
Not because AI can't do it, because AI refuses to do
it. Oral surgeons.
Yeah.
Automotive glass installers and repair.
All right.
Ship engineers.
Yeah.
Tire changers and repairers.
Right.
Those are the top 10.
Yeah. All right.
You think AI, though, could take care of the just putting on a tire, right? There's all different kind of vehicles, probably.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to involve it'd be a fairly sophisticated and expensive robotics setup for that. So that's probably not going to happen. When we're talking about a repair, which is often done for free as a part of the coverage of the tire. So you're not going to invest that kind of money for that job, even if you had it.
They talked a couple of years ago, and we talk about AI, but remember when they were talking about 5G coming in, now everything's 5G, how that will change everything in plants with the automation.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder how many, I've never really seen a story on this. How many, and I guess you could say technicians do you need? Some of these may require a college education, but people that actually fix the automation and the robots that run on AI.
Yeah.
The systems analysts and electricians that have to figure out what's gone wrong with it. I don't care whether it's AI or whatever. Everything breaks. And AI will be flawed. Just go to Google AI and put something in there and see how much of it's actually the truth. There's a lot of work to do on that because all AI does is collect everything on the internet and then, come to not a conclusion because they don't call it a conclusion, but just with possibilities.
Yeah.
If I go to AI, I probably normally go back to the regular Google search and read articles that I trust rather than just believe AI. So there's still problems with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you just wonder. I mean, you look, I would probably guess that anything that has to do with repairing, and if we live in a very highly technical society, there's going to be a ton of repairs and maintenance that has to be done on everything. I'm assuming those are the kind of jobs where you're going to have. And plus the technicians that may require a college education. Engineers that actually have to get in, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers that actually have to get in and not just, do things by, here's the theory of this, but actually go in and fix it.
Yeah. Well, because, if you've ever had somebody out to fix something at your house, they're doing the analysis.
But
the one thing you don't want to hear is, sir, I need you to look at something for me. Come, let me show you something. Like, he wants to show me something, which is going to add to the invoice. But then they explain to you how that came to be, which is based on experience. Now, some experience does vary from depending on, who you hire to do the job and who they send out to do the job. But it's required that analysis of the problem isn't going to be something that AI is going to be good at when it's just rounding up, again, all the information of all the possible problems that it could be. You're going to need a human doing these things, these technical things, and that's going to be the case for the longest time. I know we mentioned Elon Musk earlier, and he's working on his humanoid robots. Sorry, we're ages from that being actually practical. And I mean ages. And the reason is because you look at the cost involved in that. It's one thing to have a setup like Grok or something on, either on your phone, on your device, and you go to it, you ask it a question, or you request it to draw a picture of a rose or something. Ooh, cool. But then tell it you needed to fix something that's broken in your home. Now, you can ask it to analyze something, and it's going to spit out basically this one collection of answers, really, is what it is, from the internet, and there's no telling if it'll be accurate for your specific needs or not. But when we're talking about applying that to robotics, now you're talking about a very expensive venture that will come with a cost that's so great. Again, the private sector is not going to afford that, except for, where they're already using it, manufacturing in certain roles and everything else. So I don't see that being, a massive advancement for the personalized use in your home. Your vacuum cleaner even. Let's face it, the Roomba sucks. Well, quite literally and figuratively.
Mm-hmm.
It runs around the house frantically, and does okay job. But if you really want to clean your floors, a human really needs to do
Well,
that.
something, for example, to clean my pool floors, you know how they have all the robots that attach and everything else?
Yeah.
It's better that if every other day I just go with, connect the hose up to the vacuum with the pole and spend 5 minutes doing it.
Yep.
I get it. It is so much more efficient than anything that automation can do. And it's funny because I had one of the crawlers on the bottom that have its own filter, and it just doesn't last long.
Right.
It doesn't even last a season.
Right.
Now, mine's a cheaper one, like $160, but still it only it's not going to finish out this year.
Right.
Even. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go and you just do it yourself. Then I saw they have a self-contained crawler with the lithium-ion battery in. Like I said, it has its own filter. The one I have is $160. The state-of-the-art one came out, $3,600.
Yeah, see, it's not practical.
It's like, no, that's not practical, and especially when I realize, okay, just be the pool boy and take care of it yourself. Now, there's a bigger list out here from U.S. Career Institute, okay, and this was actually taken about a year ago. The jobs least likely affected by AI: nurse practitioners, physician assistants. Now, that's 1 in 3. The median annual wage for the nurse practitioner, $120,000. That was before inflation hit. Physician assistants, $121,000. Nurse practitioners, projected growth by 2031, 45.7% increase. Physician assistants, 27.6. That's number 1 in 3. Number 2, I burst out laughing. Choreographers.
I'm sorry, what?
Choreographers. I mean, dance instructors? 42,700. Projected growth 29%. Then
What?
I saw
We're
that.
gonna be
I burst out
dancing
laughing.
more?
Yeah, we'll have so much. AI is going to give us so much time on our hands. We're only going to be working 2 days a week. Everybody will want to dance.
Okay.
It'll be like Caddyshack and Rodney Dangerfield.
All right.
Everybody dance.
Yeah.
Remember when he has the beer tap on his golf bag and then turns on Journey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know where that increased demand for dancing is going to be.
I know. I love that. Then the other jobs: mental health counselors, nursing instructors and teachers, post-secondary, coaches and scouts, athletic trainers. Now, coaches and scouts, we're not talking professional. We're talking across the board. 38,000.
Yeah.
But that will increase 20%. Athletic trainers, physical therapist, occupational therapist, marriage and family therapists, art. What's an art therapist?
Oh, great. I don't know, but I bet Hunter has one.
I don't even know what there's art therapist and music therapist.
So, okay, so that would be somebody who teaches an art class as a form of therapy.
Ah.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
An art therapist is a mental health professional who uses art making as a therapeutic tool to help individuals explore emotions, manage trauma, and improve overall well-being.
Okay.
Well, you're right. It does relate to Hunter Biden.
Well, he might have had. Maybe that's how he got into painting. I don't know.
Healthcare social workers, mental health and substance abuse social workers, bioengineers and biomedical engineers. Now, these are all in order of the percentage of job growth.
Mm-hmm.
Psychology teachers, fitness and wellness coordinators, soil and plant scientists, social work teachers, art, drama, music teachers, psychiatrists. 8.7% growth, average wage, $249,000.
All right.
Anthropology and archaeology teachers, post-secondary, physicists, architecture teachers, nurse midwives, emergency medical technicians, security managers, civil engineers, transportation engineers, adaptive physical education specialists, paramedics, clinical nurse specialists, critical care nurses. You can see so many of these things are based on what? Medical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Clinical care nurses, advanced practice psychiatric nurses, dentists, set and exhibit designers. Really can't do that to AI, can you?
Well, exhibits, no. Set, I guess, depending on what the set is for. I mean, because I'm thinking entertainment. I have a friend who's a set designer in Hollywood. And I'm thinking AI can actually do some of that. I mean, if they're going to be doing, if they're going to be using AI for acting, they already use CGI is already again a big deal in the entertainment field. But I'm not sure what they're referring to here. But if it's in entertainment,
surgeons, architects, orthopedic surgeons, and so much of it's medical. So much.
Right.
First line supervisors of police and detectives.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the shortage in the medical field right now is real. And it's getting worse. It's not good. I have a few members of my family who are nurses and a couple of doctors. It's just not good. They are overrun right now, and it's not getting any better. It's getting worse.
866-90-RED-EYE.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Download our Red Eye Radio app today. Our show ends in an hour. When our show ends, it becomes our podcast. And it's that easy. So if you can't catch the entire show or you hear about a portion of the show, you say, golly, I wish I could go back and listen to that. You can do that, our Red Eye Radio app. And also, if during the show you cannot listen to one of our great radio stations live, we stream all 5 hours live on our Red Eye Radio app. Why do Democrats keep saying this? Coming up on the top of the hour, you want to hear it. I just asked you the question off the air. It's like, why do they think that that's a solution to the problems that they have? What am I talking about? We'll tell you next.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.